I want to start with something bizarre. And led the newsletter with it, and I was surprised that Brother Jack didn't come and say, why would they do that? I just knew Jack was going to say Social Security forced to use Twitter, also known as X, because I don't know how many people find that shocking, but I find it shocking. According to this report, the Social Security news, when Social Security has something to report that they normally did with a press release to news organizations and otherwise, they are now going to release that on X, meaning on Twitter. First of all, we know a lot of older folks don't use Twitter. Second of all, we know, unlike even other social media platforms, Twitter is one of the smallest. So it doesn't have, even though a lot of us in the news media, we use Twitter a lot and X and well, I use mostly Blue Sky now. That it is, these aren't big platforms like, let's say, Facebook and other platforms. But again, even that, the idea is if the Social Security has real information to release, you want it released to the record media, both independent and otherwise, not something on Twitter. And, the article gave the impression that, well, this is to kind of bring more users to Twitter and bring more users to Elon Musk, and that they did it because it's Elon Musk. First of all, yeah, they did it because Elon Musk is Doge. That's true. But there's something a lot more sinister than that. And this is what I wish the article would have covered, but I didn't see it anywhere in the article. One of the biggest ways that we were able to disperse misinformation throughout the election, was through Twitter. And you can imagine that as they destroy the Social Security offices, the regional offices, etc., and the mainstream media starts to put out what's occurring, or even the independent media starts putting out how the Trump administration is destroying Social Security. And by the way, when we say destroying Social Security, we mean that. And there's a reason why they're doing that. But I'll hold on that for a minute. The idea is to have a Twitter, an X, out there as the official source of the Social Security office lying to you, giving you misinformation, and then having other people, other organizations on Twitter expanding on the misinformation being placed on Twitter so that they can drive a narrative, so that you can continue to be fooled. This is yet another thing that you should be going to your congressperson about, because your congressperson has the ability to put within the law that all Social Security press releases must go through our standard media, independent and mainstream. It is imperative that we don't allow this slow, every day we hear something new. Every day it is like boiling the frog, right? I know this story isn't necessarily true, but it's an analogy we always bring. You put a frog in boiling water, or rather you put a frog in water, tap water, and you put that water on the stove, but you gradually increase the heat, slowly. That frog doesn't detect accordingly this delta change in heat. By the time it starts detecting that it's cooking, it's too late. It's already burnt. It's already not sauteed, but boiled. That is how this administration is working. Every day, there's a little something that changes. Every day. And the Republican side does nothing about it. And except for a few on the Democratic side, like AOC and Bernie Sanders and a couple of senators, including the guy who did the filibuster, Cory Booker and others, they would raise hell. But other than that, it is as if acceptance, and that is how the boiling frog thing works, right? Acceptance to what's being done. Well, that modal has to change before it gets too late, before the frog starts boiling, before we start boiling. And that only begins with you. So one of the things we do here as an educational channel is to tell you what's happening and to tell you what you can do about it if you don't want that to happen. If you don't want to corrupt the information coming from Social Security, which will endanger your Social Security checks, your disability checks, your things, etc. It is on you. The party is not coming to save any of you. The only thing that's going to save all of us is if all of us force our own representative, the way the Constitution was designed to work, force our representatives into doing the right thing. And that may start with a phone call. That may start with giving a visit singly or collectively to your congressperson. That may mean just for once saying, you know what, for the benefit of this entire country, all of us have to act and all of us have to start acting now. Folks, this isn't a joke. This isn't something that we should be this isn't a right and left issue. This is not only a democracy issue, but this is something that will have a material effect on your life. And a lot of these things, when baked in, when signed into law, remember, when something is signed into law, if you don't have a willing majority in Congress to buck a system, it is very hard to change. And what we're seeing here is that instantiated, something that we need to do something about rather quickly. And I hope those who are listening to the program right now don't only think about it, but talk about it. Tell your neighbors, your brothers, your sisters, your wives, your daughters, everybody about what's happening. This isn't a simple thing. It sounds simple. Social Security is going to start announcing its press releases on Twitter. Are you kidding me? And Twitter, the bastion of misinformation, the bastion of right-wing propaganda. Folks, if you want the truth, you're going to have to force this on.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel. And number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.